So leading by example means I'm going to work on myself. I want to be the best version that I can be of myself. And the way I'm going to get to do that is by seeking help from people that have already been there, from people that have figured it out.
Welcome to the Level Up Podcast. Our goal is that by listening to our podcast, you will be inspired to level up. With the help of some amazing guests, we'll be inspired by some inspirational success stories and find out how you can level up your business, your life, and your relationship with yourself. Because I know that by leveling up and balancing these three aspects of your life, you can make a difference and impact the lives around you. Level Up Podcast will be a series of interviews featuring successful professionals who are making a mark and a difference in their lives and others. They will share their incredible stories of how they did it, so you can be inspired and learn from the very best.
Hello, Bertha here today, and I am honored and happy to have such an amazing individual that I can call my friend. I've known you for many years, and I am beyond happy to have you in today. So Juan Zaragoza is with us, and I just would like to, first of all, let the audience know who is Juan Zaragoza, where is he from? How did you want people to know about Juan Zaragoza? Give us a little bit about you and who you are.
Sounds good, Bertha. Thank you for having me. I'm excited and I'm happy to share with you a little bit of my life, which you already know, but let's
our audience don't know. So anything that I know, people don't know. So we're going to start off from scratch and see where's Juan coming from. I know your story is beautiful. So please tell us, where are you from, Juan?
Yes, absolutely. So I was born and raised in Mexico, Jalisco, Mexico, El Lago de Chapala to be exact. Pueblito, a little town off of Guadalajara. And at the early age of 11 years old, my family decided to move to the United States for better life, right? Better opportunities. And, fast forward to, after high school, completing high school, going to college to study, to become an engineer, I stumbled up on this opportunity.
Okay.
It was, I used to call it accident, but I think this was my calling.
There's no accident in life, Juan. I always believe that God puts you on the path and the opportunities show, and you get to decide. You get to choose what you do with them. But
so this opportunity shows up. I was on break from school, summer break, and the insurance opportunity shows up, and that was one of my first jobs, and I liked it. I love working with people. I love what insurance is. I love what it does to people, how it protects. And I decided this is going to be my career.
Wow.
And early on, I decided, you know what? There is no plan B for me. This is it. I'm going to make this work. And 25 years later, here I am.
You're still here.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about you, Juan. Again, I know you, but again, our audience don't know. But Juan, obviously, insurance agent for over 25 years, a businessman. So summer job, that is very interesting, the way you got introduced to that industry. So remembering back then, Juan, and again, this is for audience, what do you think was the main thing that got you excited about being in the insurance? Obviously, it was a job at the beginning, career later, but at the beginning, what do you think it got you motivated or got you excited about, hey, this is something that I want to do?
It's a great question, Bertha. As a kid, I always wanted to become my own boss.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to have my own business. I didn't know what kind of business that was, whether a store or a restaurant, I don't know. But I just knew that I wanted to become my own boss. And so when I stumbled up on this opportunity, like a light turned on, and I said, okay, this is it. This is my path. So I was placed on this path. And I liked it. And, like I mentioned, I love helping people. I love working with people. And, man, the relationships that I built over the last 25 years, that's just the cherry on top.
That's beautiful.
Amazing.
That's amazing. So being at that point, a college student, finding your job, what were the challenges you remember facing, or what are the things that you remember having to, again, overcome or having to embrace?
Yeah. So the number one change was that I started from zero. I started from scratch. I
Right.
built I didn't buy a storefront business.
Okay.
I just,
How do you guys call it in your business? I remember one time we were talking about it, but
yeah,
book of business, right? When you buy
yeah,
an
right.
agency with
Yes,
clients already. Okay, so you
yes.
have none of that.
That was not available when I started.
Okay,
Nobody
okay.
did it. That turned out to be a big game changer later on. But
Right.
I ended up doing all the footwork, and so I went through everything. Which to me, if I could go back, I would do it all over again. Because it just puts everything into perspective. We went through the ups and downs early on. I went from making zero to having a great. I can say that we have a great life. My kids are well. My wife is well. We're putting our kids through school. But to answer your question, I believe the one of the biggest hurdle was overcoming not having a paycheck, at the
Okay.
beginning, So I was lucky enough that my wife was still employed, and man, we were stretching that check, but it was a great journey. It's been a great journey.
So building the clientele for you was, again, the biggest challenge. And I think
Yeah.
speaking to a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, I think we all agree that starting your own business, most people like the idea of being your own boss, and you get to call,
Yeah.
the shots, you get to decide when you go to work, when you don't have to
Yeah.
work. But obviously the big responsibility comes on your
Right.
shoulders as well, because as you
Right.
mentioned, if there are no clients, there is no paycheck. If there is no paycheck,
Exactly.
there is no income, and
Exactly.
everything falls that path, right? So
Absolutely.
that was, again, one of your challenges. Thank you for sharing that. Like you said, fast forward now, if you were to give yourself an advice and said, hey, Juan, these were the challenges you faced, these were the things you went through, what the advice will be to that new agent, Juan, knowing what you know today, what would you tell yourself as an advice?
Really, really believe in yourself, go for it, 24/7, because you have, as a business owner, I don't care what kind of business it is. If you're not 200% committed, it's just going to take that much longer, or you might even get discouraged to do it. It's just going to 100% from the get-go,
Commitment.
because one commitment, absolutely commitment. Yes.
Beautiful. And I think a lot of us in our business talk about it all the time, but I think it's important that we kind of dissect it a little further when it comes down to commitment. For you was what? What was commitment for you at that time? Meaning what?
So commitment is giving up my weekends, giving up, going to see family on special events, because I needed to make that paycheck, it's working the weekends, working long hours, leaving the office and still working from home, I would do, you can relate. And I'm sure a lot of our friends can relate that are business owners, because when you are committed, it isn't just, an 8 to 5,
Right.
It's actually what you do outside of work that makes it that much, stronger, because it's outside of work where you make different connections. Some connections are going to allow you to grow that much faster. But if you don't have that commitment, that's just not going to happen. It's not going to fall in your lap.
Absolutely. And the funny thing with commitment, I feel like a lot of times, like you said, being self-employed, people think, oh, it's going to be fun. I'm just going to show up and clients are just going to follow me and I'm just going to make this big money. But when you're saying giving up your weekends, giving up your family time, and knowing that you were building something bigger than just a paycheck. And I think that's what a lot of times we need to remind ourselves. When we start our businesses, we all have big dreams. We all have these goals that we think we're going to accomplish by owning our own business. And unfortunately, as you mentioned earlier, some of them give up on their dreams because, again, they realize that it's not as 8 to 5. That's not as easy as just Monday through Friday. That it's going to take a little more commitment. One of my coaches said one time, and I really clearly remember, he said there are two types of people: when you're interested and when you're committed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to share with you these two pieces because I think it comes really handy with what you just mentioned. So most people are interested. They want to have the business. They want to have the
That's right.
freedom. They want to build it. But they'll
That's
show
right.
up. They'll do the bare minimum. They just Monday through Friday. Oh, I have events. I'm not going to, postpone that. I'll do that later. But then there's a committed people who, like yourself,
Right.
are going to give up the weekends, are going to show up early, are going to leave late, are going to take sometimes that extra files to their house and still work on them when, everybody's asleep. I mean, I've done it myself, and I know you probably did it as well as you're mentioning, but yeah, interested and committed are two completely different things. And yeah, people confuse them a lot because they're like, yeah, I'm showing up. Yes, but only until 5 and I'm out. It's 5.
That's right.
Thank you for sharing commitment. For me, it's a huge in our business, in my business. I think it's what had made a difference as well. But that's huge. Thank you so much for sharing that. So now being after 25 years, seeing the results you have created, and I congratulate you. You've done so well. I honestly can say you're one of those key people that I look up to, and I always feel that you've done the work and you deserve the results that you have. So from the bottom of my heart, kudos to you. Are you doing any sort of mentoring? Are you doing any type of events, or does Farmers has anything that helps you empower those new agents coming in, or help the community? What does that look like? Is there anything in place?
Absolutely. So both. So I'm about growing and getting to the next level, because I'm also about helping others get to their next level. So I have my mentors, so that I can be a better coach and a better mentor for the upcoming, my staff, and particularly right now, I currently have a staff of 7, and I just want to show them the door. I want to show them the opportunity that it's there for everyone, and I can only do that by leading by example. So leading by example means I'm going to work on myself. I want to be the best version that I can be of myself. And the way I'm going to get to do that is by seeking help from people that have already been there, from people that have figured it out, So yes, I have a few mentors that, they're more like my brothers, that I look up to, and, and we mastermind, and that's helped me a lot. And it's, it's opening up more doors, it's opening up more doors, and our business is just, it's in a good place.
Beautiful. So there is like the mentorship program for new agents as your staff coming in. Do you guys have something in place, or you just creating it yourself for the people around you?
So there's different programs. There's indirect programs, and then there's direct programs. And obviously the direct programs is like incomers working under our wing, so working in our office, learning the business. And, it's not for everyone, and some learn the business and decide, I just want to stay here and help you, or others decide, and we've done that. We put on new agents, that open up their own storefront, absolutely, so there's that as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. And again, the only reason I brought it up because I know you and I had a conversation about something similar. So I wanted our audience to know that there is an opportunity. So if you're a insurance agent and you're looking to, again, expand, there's opportunities out there. You can reach out to your upper managers or whatever that might be that can offer you that opportunity. And again, Farmers has that. And again, just so you guys know, he's been with them for 20 some years. So I'm sure he eats, breathes, and everything Farmers.
Yes, absolutely.
So you mentioned on earlier about mentors. So is there any specific mentors or any specific coaches that you feel that those made Juan who he is today, or they made such a huge impact on you that the reason you're where you are today is because of that? And if there is, can you name him, or you want to acknowledge any of them?
Too many to acknowledge, but they're all equally as important to me. I will share this, that it starts with us, if we want it, we're going to make it happen. We're going to find those people that are going to help us close that gap. So, I have different mentors for different areas, I mean, you, Bertha, my friend, and, your husband, Alex, I mean, have been there for us, and we, bounce ideas between both of us. I mean, that's what I'm talking about,
Right.
but yeah, absolutely. They have been a huge impact on my life. And, it's what keeps me pushing to want to get better and to want to give back and,
Right.
all of that.
Beautiful said, because it is true. At the end, we are, what did they say? You are the influence, your results are the equal of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. So, and again, going into that, it is so important that you surround yourself with the right mentality people. Like,
That's right.
Make sure that you keep your environment secret. You keep that close, because it is so important that what we put in our mind is going to give us the results we're looking for. So surround yourself with good people. Always, look for like you said, for mentors that can help you push yourself to that next level. And the next level could be, again, just being able to take that extra vacation a year. They could be just having those extra 5 deals at the end of that year, whatever that next level is for you. So Level Up is obviously our name of our podcast, as you know. And one of the goals is obviously empower people to know that there's always that possibility of bringing up another level or whatever they are currently. So thank you for sharing that. We definitely appreciate you as well. And we, like you said, masterminding is so important. One of the books that I recommend reading every year is Think and Go Rich. And Napoleon Hill talks about the mastermind, how important it is to bounce ideas of each other, because you don't know what you don't know until you hear from somebody else a different perspective.
That's correct.
Right? You only already know what you know. But thank you for sharing that. Well, getting back into that. So what is the biggest motivation that keeps one going every single day? Even though when we have those days that you feel like not getting up, not getting into the suit, and to the idea of getting yourself ready to go out the door, what keeps you going?
My biggest motivation is my kids. My kids are, quickly becoming, finding themselves, finding like what they want to do for the rest of their lives, and I just want to make sure that they know that even though they get to whatever they find that, career path, that it isn't just getting there, it's what you do once you're there. And so I always think about that when I have like sluggish days. I was like, nope, where's my suit? Right? I'm at work, because I want them to know that even though, some days are rough, I'm there, because you have to show up, and the other thing is I have staff that depends on me, so isn't
that interesting that a lot of times having that commitment with those people are going to be the reason why you get up and show up, even when you don't feel like.
That's right. And so I show up and look, big smile always. That's important. That's important. But my family, and my office,
Beautiful said. Thank you. It is important. A lot of times, again, we just see you there, but again, we all have those days, and I want people to know that we all feel it. There are days that you're just not on your best, but having the motivation gets you going, gets you out of your bed, and gets you with that morning going. Let me ask you, do you have a morning routine? I know we talked about it, but I want you to share with the audience. Do you have a set of things that you do that prep you for that perfect day, or get you at least going for that day that you might not feel like at your best?
My morning routine is a very simple one, and I'm working on a more complete, but I'll share what I do right now.
Yeah, share with us.
What I do right now is every day I get up at 6 a.m. because my wife's up at 5 a.m. She does her meditation, and she's done by 6, and by 6:15, she's like, "You ready?" I was like, "Yes, let's go." So we go and do a 2-mile walk around. Where we live we have a big block. It's a 2-mile walk block.
Okay.
And we take our dog, and then we come home like right at 7, have a cup of coffee, catch up on everything that I need to do for the day, and get to the office and ready to go.
Beautiful. So walking, and you know what? Walking, I heard, and this is again, I do that every morning, but I hear walking gets your mind off things. You get to breathe, you get to clear up your thoughts, and it really
Yeah,
gets your body going because you're moving. Again, you're
that's
getting
right.
oxygen on your brain. So that's awesome. So that walking, it's amazing. And I don't know if you're a big reader, but any books that you read or anything that you have done that you said, you know what, that also helps kick my career or help me during those times that I feel that I needed the help. Is there any books that you would recommend?
My gosh, right now I'm into law of attraction.
Wow, look at you. Tell me about
That's
that. Law of
that's
attraction.
huge. Because it's I mean it's all in the read, right?
Mm-hmm.
But basically, you attract what you are. You know how you feel. That's what you attract. If you feel like powerful, if you feel like good, that's what you're gonna. If you feel happy, you're gonna attract happy. If you feel sluggish and you don't do anything about it, that's what you're gonna, that's what you're gonna attract, and that's what's gonna set up your day. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right.
you have to. I mean, the audience, whoever's listening, you have to give that book a chance.
What's the name of the book?
It's The Law of Attraction,
By who?
Benjamin Hicks.
Benjamin Hicks. Okay, chicos, Lava Trucks, and it is today. So I haven't read it, so I am definitely going to pick up the book and audio, and I'm going to listen to. I've read a couple books of Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, but yeah, I haven't read that one. So definitely,
I'm sorry, it's Abraham and Esther Hicks.
Yes, I'm going to have to
Yeah,
do that. But yeah, thank you for sharing. Lava
yeah,
Attraction is
absolutely.
going to be for me this time. So Juan, going back to the business, can you tell me what is the perfect day looks like when you get to the office? Do you take clients? Do you train? What is the perfect day looks for you when you get to the office after the perfect morning routine?
Yeah. So it's. I'm sure like other businesses, for our businesses changed since COVID-19, right?
Right,
Where we used to do face-to-face appointments, not so over the phone.
right.
And I think it's, to be honest, it's more productive because we get to talk to more people
Yes.
than doing the face-to-face.
Mhm.
So a perfect day in our office is obviously connecting with our clients and
Mhm.
connecting with our new clients and, cross-selling,
Right.
bringing in new clients, and zero claims. That would be a
That will be a
perfect day.
perfect day. Perfect. See,
That's
that's what I needed. And the insurance, perfect day. There's no claims filed that one day.
That's right.
Thank you for sharing. So you're still producing, right? You're still talking to clients, you're still writing up policies, you're still very involved in the business, right?
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
So as I mentioned before, especially with my new hires,
Okay.
if I'm training them, I can't have them do something that I don't do.
Right.
So, and I don't care how big or how small the policy is, I'm going to sell it. If it's just one liability only auto, or if it's a huge life insurance case, I'm going to do it because I want them to see first that it's possible, that we're doing it, that everyone here does it, so then that's what we expect them to do.
I love it.
So,
Remember? Everybody's doing it, so they have to
everyone's
do
doing
it.
it. Everyone's doing it.
That's awesome. So let me ask you one thing. So, and this is again something that I've been asking my podcast interviews in the past. If you had to come up with one thing that you think you are the best out of it, in your business, what will be Juan's superpower? What will be the one thing that that with your eyes closed, with a shout of a doubt, you are the best at that one thing? What would that superpower be?
Gosh, Bertha.
I know you
I would
have it.
say,
I know you
oh
have
no,
it. So
no, no,
tell me,
no, no. I
what would be
have
that
several, but
superpower?
I think my favorite,
Uh huh.
Bertha, my favorite superpower is connecting with people.
Okay.
Connecting with people, because that's what that sells. That makes the sell 99.9% of the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I mentioned sell because that's what we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But connecting with people is what I mean, that's the foundation of what we do. It's people, helping and working with people, So, I mean, if I have to choose, I think that my biggest superpower is that.
You know how to connect. You get people to be comfortable with you, talk to you, and you feel confident talking to them as well.
Yes.
Awesome. See? Easy questions. You just be you. One more question for you, Juan, is what is one of the biggest failures you had in your business? And it could be early, it could be later on in your career. And what do you learn from that failure that at that point you might have felt like, shoot, am I going to come out of this? How am I going to show up tomorrow? How am I going to handle this? But you went through it. And now looking back, what was the lesson you learned from that? And obviously you learned from it and moved on from it. But what was the biggest failure you feel you had to encounter? And what do you learn from it?
Absolutely, Bertha, and thank you for that question. And as we mentioned earlier, right, it's the commitment part of the business, that's gonna make you either make it or fail, right? Mm-hmm. So my biggest failure was losing track. Like say, or giving up, kind of like. Man, like I lost it for about a year. Okay. Because I was just stuck. I was like, this is it. I'm not growing. But I figured out why. I figured out why. It was because I was not growing myself. I was not putting time for me. I wasn't, I was not seeking the help to grow professionally, and so it starts there. Earlier we said it starts with you. It does. It really starts with you. Mm-hmm. When I made the decision, that there was no turning back, that there was no second option, mm-hmm. I said, okay. This is what I quickly identified what my business was lacking, mm-hmm. and obviously it was me that my business was lacking. So I was like, okay, I still gotta reach out. We have mentors that are ready to help you and want to help you, right? Mm-hmm. That I didn't use before, So when I started doing that, man, it's just so amazing that. I doubled the size of my book of business within 12 months after I made the decision, and then it's just been growing and growing ever since that. It's funny how that works, but it works.
That is awesome. So the lesson you learned would be what? That you need to seek for help when you feel that you get stuck, that you should be, instead of drowning, come out of it and ask for help.
The lesson that I learned was that I was not committed. Early on, it would become so easy to me, mm-hmm. That in 2007 hit, right? I was like fully, committed to my agency, and then 2007 hit and I started like losing clients, so instead of like growing, I was going the other way. And so I was kind of like depressed for a little bit, Okay. So like, man, what's going on? And so that's kind of what got me down for a little bit. And so it was either like look for something else or, figure out how everybody else was doing, because there was a lot of people that were still doing just fine. I was like, okay, we're going to make this work. Okay. And I quickly identified the downfalls and, and found the help, and boom.
That's beautiful. And that is amazing that you acknowledge that, because a lot of times they said that your business is a reflection of the inside. So how we feel inside is going to show up in our business. And it definitely makes a difference on how you're even approaching whatever comes your way. So Thank you. And again, going back to the coaching, you do need some help. I always think that you can always see so much when you're in the box, right? You're in the box, you can only see the box, but somebody from the outside can come in and say different things that you might not be seeing, the corners of the box, this side of the box. So whatever the case might be. Amazing. Thank you, Juan. Anything else that you feel that I have not asked you that could make a big difference on someone watching our episode today that maybe are feeling like, shoot, I could be doing that too? Is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should ask you?
Honestly, Bertha, it's just maybe just summarizing some points that we talked about earlier on, and if there's some, and it doesn't matter what kind of business it is, if that's what it is, just decide that you want to do it, surround yourself by like-minded people that maybe have already been doing it, that already have it figured out, and show up, meaning, it's going to take a while for your business to flourish, but the more time you put into it at the beginning, the faster you're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And lastly, embrace the process. You have to, because that's just, I get the chills from thinking, like, from where I started, to now. Wow, it's just amazing, and I feel blessed and fortunate that I have this, and and all I want to do now is just pay it forward.
Yes, and we are doing it just by doing what you just did today. I think it's a way of showing that we're still learning, we're still moving on the process. Like you said, we're embracing the growth, we're embracing the challenges that come our way. But we definitely want to pay it forward. We want to empower other people. We want to be the example for someone else that might not feel that they're capable, that might not feel that they're worth of having the success or the results. And we're just, again, doing this to be able to show that there is a possibility, that there is an opportunity, that there is a way of accomplishing those goals if they're willing to take action, be committed, take the responsibility that comes with that, and do not give up, because it's so easy to give up on the hard days. It's so easy to give up when we're not feeling it, right?
Absolutely.
And then said, we'll do it later, but keep going. And definitely you're an example of that you have been very, very consistent, being in the business for 25 years. It sounds so easy, but I'm sure there have been times that it hasn't felt like that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, one of the last things I wanted to talk to you is working and balancing life. I know you're a very family man, and I know you enjoy taking those trips to the river, taking those vacations. How do you been able to accomplish that balance?
It's planning and just organizing yourself. We plan. We learn, right? It's a learning experience, but we learn that to be able to do the things that we love to do, which is to spend time with the family and do our trips, we have to plan a year in advance, right. At least a year in advance. There's so much into it, and a lot of it has to do with finding a room where we like to go, right? But, it works out perfectly, because when you do that, you already know what you have to do at work, so that when you leave, you can leave knowing that the office is going to function just fine without you for a week or 2 weeks or a month, So, and obviously having trustworthy people that, represent you, because that's what they do. They represent you, yes. And it works, there's, it's a work in progress, right? Because it could get better. It could always get better, but I like it just fine.
That is amazing. And something I recently heard is like, when was the last time that everything was perfect? And it really made me stop and think about it, because a lot of times we do, right? We're like, I'm going to wait until this, I'm going to wait until that, and I'm going to wait for this to be here. But the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, if we don't take the time to go on those vacations, book it, schedule it, and get it done, your business would always need you. There's always going to be something that needs your attention, but you also need to recharge. You also need to take time to be with your family and be with yourself, and take the time to be able to enjoy life, because at the end of the day, we're here today. What do they say? Tomorrow is not promised.
That's right. Yeah, super important to have a work-life balance.
Definitely. Well, thank you for sharing those ideas. Planning, get it done, and don't wait for the perfect time. It'll never be the perfect time. So take the time to be with your family and take those trips. Otherwise, you'll never make them. Right. To close it off, Juan, just wanted to obviously thank you for being here. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for been an inspiration for so many. I know a lot of people are going to be reaching out. We're going to make sure we put your info in the video for them to reach out to you. Anything you want to share with the audience as a final thought, as a final thing that you want them to remember about Juan Zaragoza?
You know, my wife hates that I say this, but
It's you.
I like
It's
it.
you.
It's
It's
me.
you.
You know,
Oh, say it,
and
Juan.
all I have to say to my audience is that if Juan can do it, anybody can do it.
Definitely. If one can do it, anybody can do
That's
it.
right.
And that is so true and powerful, because that's being humble as well. You know, like, I'm not that special. You're not that special. If I can do it, anybody can do it
Absolutely.
if they're willing to put the work, commit themselves to it, and do not give up. I want to keep reminding that, because I feel like right now, based on the market we're in, so many people give up on their dreams just because it gets a little
Right.
rough. And
That's
you
right.
mentioned 2008, 2007. We all went through it. I was in the real estate, again, in the lending side, and I know we went through it. So it's part of life, you know, and life not being perfect, it's just another example.
You know, I would like to add something to
Go
that.
ahead.
One of my good friends that wanted to open up a business for a long time, he happens to be a barber, right?
Okay.
And when he was ready, it was a rainy season, you know, and he thought, well, you know, I'm gonna wait, you know, in a couple of months the rainy season's gonna go, and you know, and then I'll be ready, you know, then people will come out and want to get haircuts. So I told him, I was like, you know what, open now, because if you do good, if you can make it through the rainy season, there's no stopping you.
Right.
Right?
Talking about
It's simple as
perfect time.
that.
And I tell this to my loan officers, the perfect time for someone to buy a house, for example, right now with the market, I'd say the best time for you to buy, it's now. If you're able to afford that payment, do it now. What do you want to put it out for later? We don't know what's going to happen. So do it now.
That's
Take
right.
action today. So we're going to leave you with
Absolutely.
that. If one can do, anybody can do it. And do not wait for the right time. The time is
Right.
today, and go out and make it the best, and go out and do your best. Thank you, Juan. Thank you from the bottom
Bertha.
of my heart. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Level Up Podcast. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or anywhere else podcasts are found, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, you can leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Until next time, we hope you level up.